Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Over there is Ian Cameron. And you might have noticed we started a little quickly today because the elements do not want me to do this show today, Ian, and I'll explain why. First off, I took my car to the shop, which last week almost left me stranded in Austin. Shout out to Nate and Cab. Uh, Today I take it to the shop bright and early, drop it off, whatever. I come back to the house, no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi, so I can't do betting with the bag. I make it through half of it with some shitty Wi-Fi connection or mobile connection on your phone. And then I decide, all right, well, I've got to Uber to Southtown to come do the show today because I can't miss a show, obviously. And it's fucking pouring here, Ian. It is absolutely pouring here, and it stopped, thankfully. But if we would have went on about 5 minutes ago, it would have sounded like World War III outside with all the lightning and thunder, and you would have heard the ambience rain coming down too. So no rain for right now. We'll see if it kicks back up again. But I'm very happy to have you on here, Ian, because it's an exciting show for sure.
Yeah, you know what? Jimmy the Bag and me have taught you very well, Jose, as you're now, this is really your first hosting foray here, daily. I mean, with your own show, MLB, on your own. And we've taught you very well that neither sleet nor snow, no rain, no cars breaking down, no Wi-Fi issues will allow you to miss a show. And I feel the same way. I will move heaven and earth. I will move mountains to make sure that I never miss one of my shows. So we've taught you well, young one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is tough. It is tough when literally just everything keeps going in your face. But we prevailed. I have some bets. I have not capped the full card yet because it's hard to cap it without Wi-Fi. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited. And by the way, apparently, according to Stellar Girl, shout out to Stellar Girl who watches, more weather incoming. So I'm excited for it. I'm buckled down. And maybe you guys can have some ambience rain in the show while we're going here. Quickly before we start, Ian, yesterday was meh. I forecasted my own demise. I tripled up on the Red Sox yesterday, and I bet on the A's money line, of course, because fading a minus 300. And I said I could easily drop 4 units right here, and I'm only wrong about 2 games. And, I was technically right about the A's. The whole time I was breaking down the A's, I said, first 5 is probably the best bet, but I'm going to take full game money line because I'm a big dumb dummy, and I want to fade the minus 300s, full game, blah, 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 blah. Of course, if the A's go up 5-1, you're feeling great.
It's one of those perfect examples of why I do the split. First 5 in full game with pretty much every side now. Yeah, that I bet in MLB because, worst case scenario, with that last night, if you did that 1-1 and you still make profit because of the big plus money on both.
Exactly. I thought of you the whole night, actually. And I rested my head on my pillow and I said, I got to do these first 5 full game splits with these minus 300 fades. And that might be what I'm doing going forward because that was a heartbreaker, I will admit. And of course, the Red Sox. It just seems like they can't hit splitters. I don't know. They just can't hit splitters. Shohei Ohtani and Kevin Gausman have just owned them. So that's what it is. But I will be excited for this card. I am, like I said, I do have some plays, 4 plays. And I don't have my eye patch yet, but I will give the preview that the eye patch, it might be coming. And I'm definitely on them today. So it's going to be an exciting day. Ian, are you ready to start this show, Ian?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm happy to be on Tuesdays now because, again, we got a full slate pretty much now to break down on each show. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, one of the better decisions I have made in this baseball season for sure. But let's get right into Say Hey Plays 83. Say Hey 83 officially underway here. Charlie Morton, Zach Wheeler starting it out for us. Line has moved towards Zach Wheeler. A little surprised by that. But if you look a little deeper, look at his home road splits, you'll understand why. Charlie Morton, an interesting character to say the least. I've been a Charlie Morton guy for the last couple of years. And this year I was kind of like, man, I don't know if I want to run back him anymore. There was a point where I actively faded him. And then the last couple of starts, I've really just kind of laid off because I don't really know what to make of him. And I'm glad I have because if I was going to bet him, I was going to fade him and he's been dominant recently. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 home runs, 11 Ks, no walks versus the Giants at home. And at the Cubs, maybe it's the Cubs that suck, but a 7 inning, 3 hit, no earned run, 9 Ks, another 9 Ks, no walks there performance. So what are you going to say about Charlie Morton? He's got it in the elbow again. I'm not sure. Pete likes to say he's got some multiple steroids. Maybe he's got some spit, some sticky stuff. Who knows? But he's doing it. Him, Rich Hill, these old guys are just keep going. So ultimately, I didn't have a play on this game. I would, if I had a gun to my head, I'm picking the Phillies to back here because Zach Wheeler, home ERA this year in 42 and a third innings pitched, a 1.49, a 3.21, or sorry, a 32 and a third innings pitched on the road this year. He's got a 4.45 ERA there. So I'm obviously going to back the Phillies here if I did, but I would also be considering a first 5 under here if you think that Morton can get to a Phillies lineup who still might be shell-shocked with no Harper, but I'm ultimately passing here. I would rather just continue watching and seeing how the Phillies adjust with no Harper and seeing if Morton can keep throwing these junk balls in for strikes.
Which, yeah, it's been a different old man Morton the last 2 starts. I mean, he's not had a great season. I think that's pretty fair with the 4.84 ERA overall. But last 2 starts, he's given up just 2 runs in his last 14 innings. How about 20 strikeouts without a single pass, without a single walk allowed during those last 2 starts as well? So it's been a different Morton the last 2. And is that a sign of him on a great hot run? We got to keep riding it right now. We'll have to wait and see. His track record against the Phillies is a little bit spotty. He struggled against them when he faced them back in May. 4 runs, 9 hits, and only lasted 4.1 innings, albeit he's in a different, level of confidence and better current form now than he was then. But it's still difficult to trust. I mean, Wheeler on the other side, Wheeler in the sky, keeps on turning. Zach Wheeler, pitching pretty well overall for the Phillies, especially at home. You mentioned the home ERA is very good. 1.49 on the year. They've got a winning record with him at home. He has fared much better against Atlanta in his career than Morton against Philly. Wheeler against the Braves, he's given up 2 runs or less in 4 straight starts. If you actually go back to the start of last year, hasn't allowed more than 3 runs against this team. Pitched very well against Atlanta historically. So I'm leaning Philadelphia here, leaning toward the under as well. Now, thank goodness Atlanta got the day off that I'm sure the Dodgers wished they had yesterday following that Sunday night game, which went late into the night, which went in extra innings, which blew out both bullpens. And poor Dodgers have to go to Denver the very next night and play in Colorado. And that was a great spot if you took the Rockies last night, whereas Atlanta's got a day off and they've only got to go to Philly from Atlanta. So, I mean, talk about a much better roll of the dice from the schedule for Atlanta after that Sunday night game compared to the Dodgers. But yeah, I lean Philly and I lean the under. I got a few props, and I'm going to start throwing out props on the show now moving forward, because now that NBA and NHL are over, I'm doing a much greater analysis and look into the prop market every day.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that? It worked out well last night. We had Adley Rutschman. We had Alejandro Kirk, total bases, both of them. We had O'Neal Cruz over total bases last night for the Pirates. I mean, it was a good night with those. So the total bases is where a lot of my props are tonight. I'm going to go with Schwarber, even if you got to lay $1.50 on to get 1 total base, essentially over a half. I'm going to go for a little bit of it off the board. Swanson and Darno, by the way, for Atlanta. I've been riding their total bases lately. Both of these guys are red hot. They're at the top of the lineup, 1-2 for Brian Snitker and the Braves. I think Darno's gone over 1.5 total bases, 6 of the last 7, and I think same with Swanson as well. So both of those guys over their total bases are worth a look. And here's an interesting stat. Odubel Herrera, 6 for 11 against Charlie Morton historically, 2 of those being home runs. So he has absolutely crushed Charlie Morton in the past. I believe he's batting 6th tonight in the lineup for the Phillies. Yes, batting 6th behind Gregorius. So I'm going to go with Herrera total bases over a half, too, at -150. And I'm also going to sprinkle at +750 Odubel Herrera home run tonight against Charlie Morton. He's got 2 and 11 at bats against Morton, and at +750, that's worth a look.
Sure. I feel like I'm looking at a whole new person now. Oh my goodness, Ian.
Well, it's amazing how when there's only one sport on a daily basis, how much more time you have to actually look into other stuff. The derivative markets, the props. Yep.
It is shocking how that works. I will say this. In the beginning of the year, I was a big first five guy. I said, I'm not at the level where I'm taking totals yet. I'm not there yet. And then now I've graduated totals, team totals. Player props are another step that I just have not gotten to yet. I have not gotten to that level yet. Maybe I do not have enough time to do the research that you guys do. Shout out to Sharpie as well, who dominates them. And shout out to the Balking Dead every day, just like me. He's an awesome handicap when it comes to the props. Dominates them for sure. So go and follow Sharpie on Twitter as well, at Sharpie's Bets. But yeah, I think that player props are just a step too far. I won my first player prop of the year yesterday, and that was because of the Spin Doc giving us his tout play over 3.5 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. And it has the highest juice I laid this whole year too at -140. So not surprised. But that brought my Sterling record props to 1-3 this year. So shout out to me. But Ian, let's move on to this next game. The heartbreaker from yesterday for me. I tasted glory. Like I said, I tasted glory, and it seems like I just need to take the first 5 full game when I'm fading -300s now. It just really does. Maybe it'll hurt me losing 2 units instead of 1 if they get smashed. But nights like tonight or nights like last night are the reason why I need to do it. Blackman, we had, maybe, I don't know if it was a clear advantage, but I thought we had a little bit of an advantage for Jordan Montgomery. So just maybe a bad bet by me, but I don't hate it at all. It was a fun night watching that game. It did break my heart watching the fucking A's blow it, but we've got an interesting matchup here. JP Sears back up on the bump here. His last start in the majors was on the 25th of last month. So, I wrote it down, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs versus the Baltimore Orioles, but I was like, it's a month ago. Why do I care about that right now? His AAA starts were a little concerning, and I will admit I'm very interested in the A's again today, and I have not moved on them officially. But this is kind of like Frankie Montas's tryout. I'm going to be honest. Anytime Frankie Montas goes to a big contender like the Yankees, the Red Sox, whoever it may be, Dodgers, he's basically trying out for the team. And I really do think he can bring his A game here. And I wouldn't hate, you could take a first 5 minus or first 5 plus a half, first 5 money line. I don't hate any of that stuff. But JP Sears' last AAA start, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, 1 walk. And then 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs off 3 home runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. So we'll see how it goes here. I mean, obviously, I'm never afraid to fade the Yankees. Ty Maember on my back, and I'll do it, I guess. But officially nothing yet, Ian. I want to hear what you have to say on this game.
I think anytime I see 7.5, 8 with the Yankees, I'm tempted by the over. I probably will have a small play on it. They could get over by themselves. Oakland's bullpen is horrible. We saw it last night in action once again. You're throwing out Adam Oller, and I'm sick of this seeing Lou Trevino. Seriously.
Oh my God, he's so bad.
Go back to this guy. Does Mark Kotsay not have anybody else you can fucking put in there? Lou Trevino every day trying to protect a lead. I mean, you got to be shitting me that we go back to that fucker every day.
I don't know how many years he's been on the
A's
A's
this
now.
Guy. Yeah,
it's been like 5 years of this now, and the first 2 years he was awesome. Ever since then, it's been horrible. And I don't know how he's still on the A's. I expected them to trade him with Liam Hendricks or whatever, and he's still on this team, and he's terrible.
And they keep putting him out there every day or two. I mean, I guess there can't be any more options, I guess, or better options. And it wouldn't shock me if there aren't, because this is just not a good bullpen, and it's been that way all season. So, yeah, to me, I think the Yankees can probably get, close to this total by themselves. I don't have utmost confidence in Montas. Now, he's on his best day, he can be great. And on his worst day, he can be really roughed up. And look, the 5.21 ERA bothers me about Frankie Montas. That's a concern. The home runs that he's been giving up concerns me as well. He's given up 3 home runs in his last 5 starts. That's not going to play well at Yankee Stadium, not to mention 1-9 in his 10 starts with the Oakland Athletics. So it's not like they're winning with him on the mound. Again, that ERA on the road is over 5. Sears for the Yankees. I'll give Oakland credit for one thing. They've started to swing the bats a little bit. We were talking the last time I was on this show, binary code for the Oakland Athletics offensive number 01011010. It's like we're talking in computer language or some shit. with their offensive performance every day. But at least now the last 3 games, they've had, 9, 5, and 5. So 19 runs in their last 3 games. They've at least gotten awake a little bit at the plate. Your Sean Murphys, your Seth Browns, guys like that are hitting pretty well for them the last few games. I think Brown's not in the lineup, though, which is disappointing because he's actually been one of the good hitters for them, this little 3-game uptick offensively for them. But no, they're starting to swing the bats a little. That might be enough for them to, scratch a few runs across the board against Sears. So, yeah, if anything, I would play over 7.5. I did like Oakland, and I was on Oakland last night with Blackburn and that unbelievable road ERA and that great record for Oakland with him on the road, first 5 in full game. I split 1-1, but I'm not going back to the well with Oakland tonight. I would just look over.
Well, I'm going to pass as well. Shout out to Kyle Hantlian, who's living his life, man. When you make big bets like he can live the life. Missed us. He's in Nantucket on an island just chilling. No service up there, obviously, because, come on. There's never service up there. But he loves the Padres money line today, and he's in the sauce right now. And by the way, I know he's a big tennis guy. I just watched Serena Williams lose, which really broke my heart. But shout out to Kyle Hantlian. I'm sure he had something on that.
Maybe you look Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases. I did bet that a little bit. He's feeling it at the moment.
Yep. I hope he keeps doing it, and I hope he enjoys his $500 million contract on the West Coast. Next game on our slate. We're here, Ian. I'm back on him, Ian. I took a day break. I took 2-day break, actually. I think it was. But I'm back on the Pirates again. We're on the team total wagon again. Yes, you know what it is, Ian. Raise the Jolly Roger. We're here again. I'm on their team total over 4 minus 110. And I looked while I was able to produce betting with the bag, and this game did come up. A lot of love for the first 5 team total over 2.5, and that's what I'm on too as well. I add that as well. It just makes a lot of sense to me. Plus 105 for that. Team total is minus 1 or minus 110. Patrick Corbin, flat out not good. I don't really think I need to say anything else. Key Brian Hayes is leading off the lineup again. We've got O'Neal Cruz hitting third. His NL Rookie of the Year campaign still moves along. And every day I fall more in love with this Pirates team. So I can't wait. If you've followed me on Twitter, you've probably seen my Pirates record by now. And I will admit, knowing that my Pirates record is so good now does make me a little more hesitant to bet on them. But I do like the spot today. I said I would probably bet on them today, because of Corbin. So, yeah, team total over for me.
So we got a little O'Neal Cruz, little total base streak going. Like, say, 5 of the last 6 games have gone over 1.5. So, I'm on that. O'Neal, and I was on that yesterday. O'Neal Cruz over 1.5 total bases. I'm back to it today. O'Neal Cruz over 1.5. You can get plus 140 on that. Plus 150 at Bet365 on that over 1.5. So that's become my sweet spot in just 2 days of attacking the props. Is these over 1.5 total bases at a plus number. Kirk is still getting plus prices for Toronto on his over 1.5 total bases. It's mind-boggling. Unfortunately, that he's not we'll get to that, but he's not in the lineup tonight for the Blue Jays. But it's been amazing, and it's amazing you can get plus 150 with O'Neal Cruz here. Over 1.5 total bases. I like over 8.5 here. I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of Pirates team total. They have a chance maybe to win this game, do more of the damage, but I don't necessarily trust Quintana. He's been kind of declining a little bit downward. I think Washington might be able to, put a little offense on the board too. Pittsburgh's bullpen coughed it up last night. That's not good for confidence. Neither of these bullpens inspire confidence for me night in and night out. So I certainly like the Pittsburgh team total angle, but I'm just going to go full game here. Over 8.5 plus O'Neal Cruz, the total bases.
Well, I love hearing all the O'Neal Cruz love. Let's check out how these teams hit lefties this month. Nationals against lefties, 116 weighted runs created plus. That's 15th. That's pretty good there.
They've dropped a little bit, though. They were one of the best the last 2 years against lefties. Washington dropped a little bit, but they're still serviceable.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, every time I look at the Pirates' numbers, they're just worse. But somehow I keep hitting these team totals and such, and it makes me laugh every time. It makes me laugh. Right now, the Pirates are 27th against lefties, 79 weighted runs created plus. They did just face Shane McClanahan a couple days ago. So just keep that in mind and when you're asking yourself why that number is so low. Luckily, we weren't on them that day, but I'm glad that we move on and we bet them today. Raise it, guys. Raise the Jolly Roger and clear the deck because cannonballs are coming today. Next game on our slate, Ian, I would love to hear your opinion on this because I'm a biased piece of shit, and I tripled up on the Red Sox like a big dumb dummy when everyone else was on the Blue Jays. It makes me feel like an idiot. Maybe I am an idiot, but I'd like them today at plus 117. I think that's crazy, honestly. Ross Stripling is not someone that impresses me. He gets outs, obviously. I don't know how he does it. I'm going to watch it today and find out how he does it. But after a mad day from the Red Sox, with, again, I do not think that they can hit splitters is one of the things that I've learned. I think they get to Stripling today, and then we get to a game 3 tomorrow that's going to be electric. You can just go ahead. Let's roll up the sleeve. Right here, you could inject that game 3 with Nick Pivetta and Manoah on the mound. Right here. I might take the Red Sox here again, but I want to know if am I just an asshole being biased and just continue betting the Red Sox like I do most of my favorite teams, or do I have some reason here, Ian?
This is an interesting matchup here because I don't trust either of these guys. I don't think Walker's going to keep. These are two guys that you check back in September. Walker doesn't have a 2 whatever ERA, and Stripling doesn't have a 3.08 ERA. No way. Take the over. All right, both of them, as far as I'm concerned. Michael Walker, his day of reckoning is coming. It's just a question, I think, of when. At this point, we'll see if he can survive it here tonight against the Blue Jays. I do want to point out. Springer, 3 for 9 against him, crushed him. Bo Bichette, 4 for 7, 571 average against Waka, crushed him. Vlad Guerrero, 2 for 7. Teoscar, 2 for 5. All of these guys, I think, are live for total bases tonight for the Jays. Bichette, Vlad, Teoscar, Bichette, Teoscar, Vlad, and Springer. All 4 of those guys. I think they're all worth a look total bases. I like over, quite honestly. I'm not. Stripling's been great, and maybe tonight's going to be another Stripling 1-run 6-inning performance, and it'll stay under the total, much to my chagrin. But I've seen enough of Ross Stripling to know that no run of his lasts indefinitely, and I've seen enough of Michael Walker to know that. And I know these two lineups are both very capable, and specifically Boston. I think they're going to bounce back. Last night just didn't look typical Boston lineup. You know, they had been raking the ball pretty nicely during that win streak, which got snapped last night in that 7-2 loss against the Jays. So I'd expect them to bounce back. If you're looking, by the way, at some props for Boston, I do like some props for Boston. I do like the over in the game here tonight. I would focus more than anything. Bogarts has done good against Stripling, Trevor Story a little bit, but I'd actually go with Verdugo. Even though he doesn't have a ton of experience against or great amount of success, he's actually 3 for 10. I guess that's not bad against Stripling, but Verdugo is one of the hottest hitters right now for Boston. He's 12 for 30. That's the streak for Alex Verdugo going into this game tonight. So he's had a terrific stretch of torrid hitting at the plate. So there's a couple different ways you could go for total bases with Boston, but I think my favorite one is Verdugo, and especially with the price you get, over 1.5 plus 125. Alex Verdugo total bases. So there we go. A bunch of total base props. And even though the ERAs look great, I don't trust either of these guys against two very potent lineups. So I'm going to go over the 9.
I like the over 2. I'm going to say that I like the over 2, but I'm betting the Red Sox money line. I'm going to say that in hushed voice so I don't feel bad about myself later. Plus 117 for me. Get the fucking series tied up here and give us a good game tomorrow. That's what I want. Give us a good game tomorrow.
Yep.
I just want to see that. But let's move on because I think that was the most predictable bet of all time if you watch this program. Next game on our slate here, Houston Astros, New York Mets. And another very predictable bet for me, if you watch this show, Framber Valdez is my favorite lefty in the game. The Mets do not perform as well against lefties. I was going to say good against lefty, but it's just not as well because I think this Mets team is a World Series team personally. But I'm taking them first 5 minus a half at plus 115. Obviously, I could take the money line minus 125, eat the juice. But I'm not going to safe this. I want to, keep the vig down, as they say. I believe in Valdez very, very much. Like I said, he's my favorite lefty in the game. I love the sinker ball shit, just getting guys to just hit balls straight into the ground. And there's some sort of sick pleasure I get in it. 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs off a home run, 7 Ks, 3 walks at New York last time out. At the Yankees, I should say, just be specific. But, the walks will always kill you, and I think Framber obviously felt that last game. I think he'll be fine here. And Cookie Carrasco, his last start was against the Astros. He came out with a back injury.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and my real quandary or my real thought was like, when does that back start like hurting you? Do you wake up with it and you go like, oh, I'm nagging you the whole day, blah, blah, blah? Or is it, you throw one pitch and it tightens up on you once? Because you look at the game log and the first inning for Carrasco was not good, and maybe I'm naive to say I don't think his back was hurting in the first inning. Maybe I don't think that Carrasco will pitch through, something nagging him in fucking July, June. So I think that the Astros get to Carrasco again here, and I would be a little surprised if Carrasco came out and pitched well again, or well against these Astros here. So first 5 minutes a half for me here.
I'm with you. Houston, first 5 full game. And I like the under here, actually, a little bit. First 5 full game. I mean, Carrasco does pitch better at Citi Field. 3 ERA on the nose for him at home. Better than his overall ERA. So I could see him pitch. And look, Houston's been striking out a lot lately. It's not like they've been crushing it at the plate. And certainly I think the Framber Valdez will pitch well here against the Mets. He's definitely got a great road track record as well. Excellent numbers on the road. Sub-2 ERA on the road this year for Framber. So really, really strong on the road. Not many Mets hitters have done much damage against him in the past, so he's fared well against the lineup. So, yeah, Houston first 5 full game split. I'd look under the total as well going into this game. There were some question marks about the Astros lineup tonight. Michael Brantley and Yordan Alvarez were both banged up going into the last game. They both left the last game for the Astros over the weekend. So some question marks about their status. Michael Brantley's been put on the IL, so he's going to be out at least a little bit. But Yordan is good to go tonight for Houston, and he'll be batting third for them tonight. And with him being in the lineup for this Astros team, it means we're very much interested in a bet that we've been making a lot lately with him is over 1.5 total bases.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. That guy's fucking chiseled out of granite. That guy gives me the willies. I have been to many an Astro game against the Red Sox, and every time that dude steps up to the plate, it is terrifying. He is gigantic as well. It is shocking. It really, really is shocking how good they are. And that Astros Yankees series, the Astros dominated the Yankees. Dominated them.
Yep.
I think I saw a stat or heard a stat on a podcast that the Yankees got a split with the lowest team batting average in a series since like 1930, 1913, something like that. Some ridiculous number like that. So I'm beware now. These Astros, though they lose Carlos Correa, obviously one of the best shortstops of the game, if not the best, they obviously are just a machine. The pitching is good. And the fault that everyone is calling out for the Astros is their bullpen, and they've got the best bullpen ERA. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And it's every year they're in the ALCS. I don't see any difference. I think, honestly, this could be a World Series matchup. Truthfully, I really do. I think the Mets are that good. I'm high on the Mets. I just need them to get healthy. And that's always dodgy with the Mets. So Astros for both of us here. It's going to be a fun game for sure. I won't be watching because of blackouts, but it will be a fun game for sure. Let's move on to the next game. And I find that this matchup just fascinating because it does feel like two teams just kind of looking each other in the mirror, the AL and NL version of each other. Obviously, the Rays are a little bit souped up or less spending of money, but the Brewers, they always cultivate their pitching and do what they do. Woodruff on the bump here comes back from a hand injury, I believe it was. First start back. His 2 minor league outings were just they make me laugh, actually. They were just pretty funny to look at the game logs. His first start was in AAA on the 18th. He goes 2 2/3 innings, only goes 2 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, something casual, 1 walk. And then he goes to single A for his next start. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it was probably single A because they just needed a starter. And it was like, okay, we'll just throw Brandon down there. Why not? He goes 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, a home run. So shout out to that guy. 7 Ks, 1 walk. I think it is just hilarious that he goes down to single A. Just kind of like how DeGrom went down to the rookie league or whatever it was, spring league. just absolutely gets rock solid those hitters and dominates them, and it's very funny to watch. But Bozmania, I think, is also very interesting. I love Shane Boz. I don't know. Maybe it's just a name. Maybe it's just a name that I love. I don't know what it is, but he's a great pitcher to watch. I think, he's going to be the I don't know. I really think he's going to be the next Tyler Glasnow type, like leader of their rotation, throws super hard, all that good stuff. And by the way, I did see videos of Tyler Glasnow throwing today, which, oh man, watch out for that. And watch out, because I definitely think he could be a trade candidate as well for the Rays, because I don't think they'll sign him. But I had nothing on this game. I think it's going to be absolutely very interesting, to say the least. 7 super, super low as well. So maybe you consider a team total over for the Rays, because I'm sure it's very low. But fading Woodruff is an interesting proposition, especially after those 2 minor league starts. But I always say, I don't like backing a guy coming off an injury. So pass for me, Ian.
Yeah, this is one where a small bet for me, which on the Rays here, first 5 full game. I like Boz. He pitched better after the first, he had a little bit of a rough outing against the Twins when he came into the rotation, but he's been better since then. And even the last start against the Yankees, they always make you work. And I thought he's gutted through it when maybe he wasn't at his absolute best. I could see him pitching well here. And Woodruff's a big fat question mark. He really is. He wasn't pitching well before he went on the IL last month. He's been off for a month. At least in terms of making a major league start. His road ERA is not great at all. It's an 8 ERA he's got on the road this year, Brandon Woodruff, which it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence. Been very good at Miller Park. He's been a really big home road split guy. Just hasn't been able to quite follow up what he did last year. Tampa Bay's starting to hit the ball a little bit, too. You look at it during the 4 of the last 5 games they've won, 5-4, 4, 6-4. So starting to get the lineup going a little bit after they had really been scuffling at the plate. So, maybe a value team total, too, toward Tampa. Only 3.5 at plus money just to get 4 runs. They've been doing that routinely now, 5, 6 in a row. Woodruff coming off the IL, which to me is a shaky proposition. So team total might be worth a look to the over on the Rays. But I like Tampa here, first 5 full game in this one. And this is actually one of the games I do not have any player props with.
I agree wholeheartedly with the team total. I think 3.5 is just so low. I with a 7, come on. Brandon Woodruff coming off an injury, like I said, I usually fade him. I will admit the 2 minor league rehab starts with 7 Ks does intimidate me a little bit. I'll admit it. And I still think, I don't think Brandon Woodruff is washed by any means. He's not been pitching well this year. But yeah, it'd be Rays for me, and the line has moved slightly towards the Rays as well. So yeah, Rays there. I will shout out the chat, because I haven't said hello to you guys yet, and apologies for doing so. Shout out to my guy Derek Parra, who's been in here asking about a Rays Yankees parlays. Derek Parra loves those big city AL East parlays.
Yes.
So shout out to you, Derek, Venezuelan guy. So I appreciate you. Not applicable. He's on Tampa Bay money line here. Shout out to Armchair MMA, Real Deal Prime in here. Danzo, Dabby Cab, Occupancy, Philip Urias. A little streaming talk going on in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Yes, you could do those streaming services, or those websites, I should say. But yeah, I do not. Well, I can, but I just don't for those games because I'm too lazy. All you guys, Noli Knows isn't in here as well. DX Filer, Big Ragu, not applicable. Able A, shout out to you guys. Reek. It's going to be a good show, and it's been a good show so far. So we both like, I would say I like the Minnesota or the Tampa Bay Rays. Ian over there is actually on them. So shout out to you. Let's move on to the second half of the doubleheader here. Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Guardians. I did not watch the first game because, again, no car, no internet, no nothing. Severe weather down here, apparently. But I will say this. I was happy, should I say, not pleasantly happy, but I was happy to see that the Cleveland Guardians won, because I am going to take the Minnesota Twins here in game 2. I think minus 110 is crazy for this pitching matchup. Josh Winder is a good pitcher. And I don't know why he's in the minor leagues, to be honest with you. His last start in the minor league was 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, a home run, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Before that, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no strikeouts, 1 walk. So he gets outs, and that's what the Minnesota Twins need. I would keep him up, but they called him up for the doubleheader. Pingleton is nothing that I really am afraid of. Truthfully, I'll look up Minnesota Twins. I did not write down the Minnesota Twins numbers against lefties, but obviously they're crushing righties, and they are struggling against lefties. 85 weighted runs created plus, 26th and again against them this month in the league. I still not going to be too concerned. Well, not too concerned. That is a worry, but I'm not going to let that dissuade me. Buxton in the lineup as well as Correa. Buxton was not in game one's lineup, I believe. So at least we'll get a rested Buxton as well. So give me the Twins full game money line.
Yeah, I lean to the Twins. The only problem is they're hitting horribly against lefties right now. Awful. The Minnesota Twins, and that's what Pilkington is. So, and Pilkington's actually done all right so far, and they've won all 3 of his home starts. So, I was leaning Twins as well, but I don't touch the doubleheaders very much, at least the second game. But usually, I do, in theory, like to bet on the team that lost the first game, which in this case was Minnesota. After the bullpen blew it in the 8th inning, they actually had a 2-1 lead. They blew it in the 8th inning. Cleveland scored twice. I lean Minnesota, but I won't be touching it.
I agree with you about the doubleheaders part. And I think I put myself in the situation to bet this game because I mentally just didn't watch the first game. You don't watch the first game, it didn't happen. So there you go. There you go. There's my logic, Ian. I hope that my logic, translates to all you out there because it only translates to a few people. Next game on our slate here. Let's talk about Miami, St. Louis here. An interesting game to say the least with Braxton Garrett and Hudson here. This will be my I really don't want to watch this game. Garrett is fine, I guess. Last time out for him at Colorado or versus Colorado at home, I should say. 4 and 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned, 7 Ks, 1 walk. I remember everyone being very pleasantly surprised by that start. And truthfully, I think he can easily get rocked here. Coming off of a good start like that, it just feels like a letdown spot for him. He's still a young pitcher. Putting together good starts like that's tough. Maybe he rests on his laurels a little bit. So I wouldn't hate. I just wrote down he's a lefty, obviously. So Cardinals against lefties, they kind of disappointed us in several points this year. There was a little stretch where it was like Justin Steele, McClanahan, both those dudes back to back shut them down. And a lot of people, including me, I backed them both starts, and I was like, okay, well that's not good. That's not a good sign. But I'll back them here again. They're 20th against lefties, 105 weighted runs created plus, so slightly above average. I'll take that chance. I'll take that chance again with them. I'll look at a team total here, probably be 4.5, and if it is, I'll have to consider it a lot. But what about you, and what are you on here?
Yeah, there's nothing about Braxton Garrett that looks spectacular to me. He's meandering. The last start against the Rockies, don't be fooled by just 2 runs allowed. He had 9 hits allowed. He was just walking a tightrope that whole game against a Colorado lineup that doesn't always hit on the road. So that's not a good sign. The Cardinals, they're still a well above average team against lefties. And you mentioned it. Most of the lefties that shut him down were better pitchers than Braxton Garrett. Shane McClanahan, of course, stands out. He's much better than the guy that they're going to face tonight. Certainly, I would think the St. Louis Cardinals can score runs in this game. I think Miami can, too, against Dakota Hudson. I don't like some of the things I'm seeing with Hudson. It's been more of a up and down decline for him. They're still top 10 in the league. Miami righties against OPS against righties, this Marlins team. So, I could see them having a little bit of offensive success. 7.16 ERA last 3 starts for Hudson as well. 2 of them really bad. He got crushed by Cincinnati here at Busch Stadium a couple starts ago. 6 runs, 9 hits allowed. Last start against Milwaukee wasn't pretty. 2 home runs allowed, 5 runs, 7 hits in 4.1 innings, 3 straight overs. I like over 8.5 here. In fact, I think I posted this earlier today on Twitter as one of my plays for Twitter today was this one, Miami St. Louis over. I like it. I think we'll see runs scored. And this is a good player prop game for me. I've got a bunch here. I've got Goldschmidt over 1.5 total bases for St. Louis. We know he's been hitting the ball very well lately. And look who's come on strong too. And it's another one for St. Louis that I've backed here, total bases tonight. Juan Yepes over 1.5 total bases, plus 130. He had a big night at the plate last night. He's trending toward going over total bases now. I believe 4 of his last 5, he's gone over 1.5, and it's plus 130. It's a good price. So Goldie and Juan Yepes for St. Louis over 1.5 total bases. And I'm going to go with Garrett Cooper for the Miami Marlins over 1.5 total bases as well at plus 140. He hits righties well. He's in good form right now. He actually has a decent track record against Hudson. And like I said, his form right now is very good. And he's hit the over total bases a lot more than he hasn't in recent games. So 3 total bases, one for Miami, Garrett Cooper, plus price. Goldschmidt, that you had to lay minus 120, I believe, with his, and a nice plus price on one Yepes for St. Louis as well, over 1.5 total bases. All of those also over 8.5, minus 120.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love all these prayer prop looks, and it makes your volume betting even more voluminous. Just only increases to the volume. I love it. Ian, about just a random question: how many bets do you end off in a year for baseball? Just just ballpark.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I'm probably going to end up with no. The volume is going to decrease late in the season when it gets really tough. It will, because that's just really tough at the end of the season. It's all the minor league scrubs that get called up. But no, we'll exceed 3,000 bets in baseball.
3,000. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was about to say,
if you include props, yep, we're already at 1,000.
Well, Jesus, making my 400 and some looking a little small compared to 5K and over there. Shout to Noli who guessed 5K.
Well, keep in mind, I count first 5 and full game split bets as 2 bets, not one.
Oh yeah, no, so as you should. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's an interesting game here, Ian. I'm officially going to move on the Cardinals team total over 4.5, minus 110 for me. It's at least cheap price. I'm glad I don't have to do that. But yeah, I am definitely going to put that team total over. It makes me feel better that you are on the over, expecting runs here, and a lot of your props are on Cardinals. So good there. So team total over for me. Let's move on to this next game, and this begins the portion of the card where I did not cap it as thoroughly. So I'm very excited to do some on-air capping, because it seems seemingly, I don't know why this is, Ian, but the days where I'm least prepared and I don't have notes in front of me are the days that I do the best. That I go like 3-1 or pull it out of my ass, do something like that, and that's just how hilarious how that goes. Versus, I should say, Luis Castillo first, because we'll talk about him, because Keegan Thompson, I don't know what the hell, something right. Keegan Thompson, what a guy. Cincinnati versus Los Angeles Cincinnati versus Los Angeles for Castillo's last start. He goes 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs there, 6K, 3 walks. All things considered, not a horrible start, I'll admit it. At Arizona last time, before that, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs there, 1 home run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. I don't know what really to make of Luis Castillo anymore. Like 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, Luis Castillo, he's the next one of the next great aces in baseball. He's going to be Pedro Martinez light. But he just really has not been that guy, whether it's injuries or just being shelled or, first half, second half. It's just weird how he operates, and truly doesn't inspire confidence at all when backing him. Home road splits for Luis Castillo are pretty drastic, but is that a factor, or is that a Cincinnati Reds ballpark, Great American Ballpark, I think it's still called? But is that a factor there? I don't know. But Castillo, let's. Oh, now my computer's slowing down. At home, a 5.14 ERA at home, 21 innings pitched. On the road, a 30 innings pitched, 2.70 ERA here against all road opponents. I have to bring up ballpark, pal, for this one, because we're at Wrigley Field and we got to check the weather and the wind. Not much wind, 3-mile wind blowing to right field. According to Ballpark Pal, it looks like we're going to get some runs today. 11% chance for more likely chance for home runs, and runs in general for 8% chance there. But, always take that with a grain of salt. Who knows what that might mean. But let's talk about Keegan now. Perhaps the most I'll say this now. I think the most successful Keegan there ever has been in Major League Baseball. I can say that with a fact now. And maybe in the history of the world, because there's not a lot of successful Keegans we've got out there. Early in the bullpen, makes some starts, and then the Cubs figured out, like, wow, this guy's phenomenal. At Pittsburgh, my Pirates last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a 1 home run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. I actually remember this game because it was a game that the Pirates got blown out in. It was like 13-1. And then they backdoored my team total over in the 9th inning with the 5. It was like 13-5 final score, and one of the more electric Tiger bets I've had, or Lions. Why am I on cats today? Tigers, Lions, Pirates bets. Versus the Braves before the Pirates start for him. He goes 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks there. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised his total's at 9, Ian. I really am. I would bet a first 5 under here, perhaps. Maybe even a full game under as well. But I think I'm going to pass for now and see what you're on here, Ian. I know how you feel about unders.
Yeah, I don't love the under in this game because the bullpens stink, and I don't know what we're going to get from both starters. So I actually lean over, but I don't love it. It's not one of my stronger opinions here. Bullpens are
bullpens in
terrible.
the league right now, or 2 worst bullpens in the last 2 weeks, according to Stellar Girl here too.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrible. It's hard for me to bet Cincy under right now. It just is flat out because of that bullpen. It's awful, and the Cubs bullpen's been bad all year, but it's been really bad lately. And I'm still not buying into what Keegan Thompson's selling. I should because he's bounced back after that one rough start, and he's been a lot better. But I don't know if I really trust him to be this way the rest of the year. And Luis Castillo, we think for years he's going to be an ace caliber pitcher, and it's just too much mediocrity, too much inconsistency. And there's a couple of Cubs that have hit him hard. Ian Happ, Wilson Contreras in particular. They've really done damage against Castillo. Contreras 7 for 15, 3 doubles and a homer. He's a total base bet for me here. Wilson Contreras for the Cubs over 1.5 total bases. Can look that way with Ian Happ as well. He's batting well. He's also 8 for 22. Good success against Castillo in the past. So lean over. I'm going to just dabble in those 2 Cubs total bases, though, more than anything. I like that. Ian Happ over 1.5 total bases plus 140. And now Wilson Contreras over 1.5 plus 110.
Interesting. By the way, all this talk about Keegans, I found my second favorite Keegan, and we have one in our chat. We have another Keegan. I don't know how to say this Keegan's last name. Dinahan? Sure. Keegan, thank you for watching. And officially, my second favorite Keegan, and maybe depending on tonight's start, my first. So shout out to you, Keegan. I think, by the end of the show, I think I'm going to talk myself into you, number 1, Keegan. So shout out to you, my man. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And yes, not applicable. My bet is still staying from that game. It was great. It was great. And by the way, Danzo, a comment here. Oakland is so funny. They still play at the Coliseum. I went to an AC/DC concert there in 1979. That place is so goddamn old.
Been around a long time.
I'll mention this. There are, if you've been watching the show, you know this, but there are 6 billion% now moving to Las Vegas. 100% moving to Las Vegas. The news of Major League Baseball just waving away the relocation fee is crazy. That was one of the most things. That is just a stab in the back of all the fans in Oakland, all the Southern California baseball fans. All of them just got absolutely screwed by the Major League Baseball. And, I wouldn't say they're local governments. I would say billionaires should pay for their own fucking stadiums. But shout out to Bill Simmons. But I just, that's crazy to me. It was going to be almost close to $1 billion. And they just said, nah, we want a team in Vegas. Go ahead. So I just crazy stuff there. Next, like Eric Chang's mentioning it here, the Tropicana Rays. The Tropicana Rays are going to be next on that list if they don't get their shit together. And Montreal's a calling, Ian. Montreal's a calling. Would be very interesting. Would be very interesting to say the least. How would you feel about that, real quick?
What? Oh, them going to Montreal. I think Montreal should have a team. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a relocated team, for expansion team, whatever. The baseball should be there. Fan support was not an issue. It was ownership dollars, corporate dollars. That's why.
What
fell apart.
How would you feel about in a fan aspect? Would you still 100% Blue Jays or in all of Canada? Do you guys all just rally around whichever Canadian teams, no matter what?
Yeah, most people just are Blue Jays fans here. I don't know if that certainly there's going to be some people flock to the Expos. I'm sure if they were to get the Montreal baseball team, whatever they end up being, if they get a team again, but. I just think they should have a team. There was never a lack of fan support. In their heyday in the 80s and 90s, it was a good thing going there. And plus, they had the Olympic Stadium's not really the greatest ballpark. It's not Tropicana Field bad, but it's not really a great baseball park. So obviously, a stadium's going to be something they have to look at there as well. But They should have baseball in Montreal, and there should be more than just one Canadian team. There's no reason to not have more than one.
Would be a real shame to see one in Mexico. Would be a real shame. All right, let's move on. That was enough of a little divergence there. Let's talk about Texas Rangers, Kansas City Royals. You know what? Actually, I really don't want to talk about this game now that I just said that out loud. This game sucks. John Heasley versus John Gray. The Battle of the Johns is, I think, probably the most interesting portion of this game, just because both these guys have the first name John. We'll start with Heasley first off. His last time out at the LA Angels, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, 6 Ks, 2 walks. That was his worst start of the year, actually. He's been pretty okay, I would say. 2 innings or 2 earned runs last time and 4 innings versus the Giants at the Giants. But, it was usually like 3 innings or 3 earned runs in like 6 innings. And you'll take that as a Royals fan, honestly, compared to what you usually get. But a season worst start. Maybe he bounces back here against John Gray, but I don't want to watch this game to find out. I don't want to back John Gray. I've got zero faith in him, especially at a minus 150 price. So I guess it's Orioles. I guess it's Royals or pass, but no way I'm betting this game.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this from a value standpoint, I got to lay minus 150 now with John Gray, and I could have laid less than that with Martin Perez last night. Just from a value standpoint, I don't see how it exists with Texas in this game. Now, I love Texas yesterday with Perez, but not today with Gray. Although Gray's been better on the road, and Gray has been better the last few starts, and that might be enough. He has looked little glimpses of John Gray at his best, and we know we don't always get that every start. And Heasley, you're right, he's been mediocre, he's struggled, but he's also been at a couple starts where he's actually held the opposing lineup in check. So I'm actually kind of leaning under, but I'm not going to be betting this game either way.
Yeah, shout out to Twatty Latte watching, Mr. Pussy Coffee. Appreciate you for watching as always. This is an ass game, and I think Mr. Not Applicable says it best here. When a game's ass, it's time to pass. So that we are passing here. Let's move on to a game that's been talked about a lot recently. And you mentioned yesterday. Yesterday was a clear Rocky spot. I didn't see it. I'm glad that a lot of people did and bet on it. Danzo, big baller play here. It's the big baller, big roller play of the day. Rockies at Dodgers, extra innings plus 1,000. Shout out to Danzo. Don't hate that look at all. I love a plus 1,000 there. The real question is, what are we going to get from the Dodgers here again? Maybe they got that day of rest for the bullpen and all that stuff. I don't know. But it's Kershaw obviously in the bump, who I'm assuming they're going to rely on to give him some length here. Against lefties, let's find out how our beloved Colorado Rockies are doing. Of course, we used weighted run created plus because it is also ballpark adjusted. They're 16th, 111 weighted runs created plus, so not bad, obviously. And the Dodgers, you won't hear this often. The Colorado Rockies hit the lefties better than the Dodgers. They're 21st, 103 weighted runs created plus this month. So I guess you're going to take it over with Clayton Kershaw, but no way am I betting this game either. Just another pass for me, unfortunately.
I actually think the Rockies have a little value right now. Dodgers have gone cold again offensively. I mean, remember we were starting to look at that Cincinnati series last week. I wasn't saying, because the Dodgers weren't hitting going into that series. They run into Cincinnati, and they just crushed the Reds, in that series and putting up big crooked numbers. And we're thinking, Dodgers lineup back on track. Maybe not so much if you watch the Atlanta series after that, because they went right back into scuffling a bit at the plate. I think it was more hot heat, humidity of Cincinnati, that little bandbox, Great American, and bad Cincinnati pitching probably led to that outburst for the Dodgers, but they've cooled off yet again. They didn't score a lick last night, albeit a bit of a hangover spot, but they don't have the bats right now, specifically against lefties, to trust them in this price range. And, they do have a decent track record against Freeland, but I've seen also Freeland pitch well in Coors Field before. And Kershaw, 2 of his last 3 starts at Coors Field have been very ugly, have been very rough for him. Even though he's pitching great right now, the Rockies do it lefties well. So I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I would rather have the Rockies as a home dog again tonight before I lay a big number with the Dodgers here.
Man, Ian, I'll be honest. First five Rockies really seems appealing right now. It really does. And I've got a lot of plays on the card. I'm always cautious of that. But, Kyle Hitland is very adamant that these Rockies are not going to win tonight. So that's why I guess I'll take them first five, Ian. I don't, this feels weird to do.
Rockies have done all right in this park against Kershaw, and they're hitting lefties.
Mhm.
So to me,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I just don't want to lay minus 225 to find out, if the Dodgers can bounce back. Certainly, they're in a better spot. There's no doubt. Last night was a terrible one, but not at that price. And the Rockies are better at home. We know that. Rockies are not a pushover at home. Rockies have a, winning home record. So,
okay, well, I'll tell you that. I'm
Yep.
officially on first five money line plus 155 for me.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be dicey. It's going to be scary. It's one of those plug your nose, hold your nose, and go at it. But I did see someone, and I think this comment stuck in my head. I don't know who said it now, but shout out to you. I saw someone say that the Rockies might pull a Dodgers or might pull a Pirates on the Dodgers. I said, oh boy, when you put it like that, I mean, those are just the right set of words. Those are the right combination of words to get me to bet on something. I will admit it there. All right, so Rockies first five for me.
Oh, Will Smith and Connor Joe total bases in that game. Will Smith for the Dodgers, he's been red hot, and Connor Joe for the Rockies.
Shout out to Will Smith, one of my favorite catchers in the game. The ideal model of a catcher right now as well. Next game on our slate, let's talk White Sox Angels. And obviously, we have some suspensions to talk about, I guess. I'll bring them up. I don't know really how they affect the game all that much, truthfully. There's obviously appeals and all that good stuff, but easily the best baseball fight we've had in the last 5-10 years. It was great. I very much enjoyed it. Obviously everyone is healthy-ish, so we're glad about that.
They
But it
didn't
was
mess around. They were throwing bombs, haymakers. Yep.
Oh no, they were not messing around. The open hand shove to the face from Rendon is starting it all was crazy. So just a quick recap of who is suspended. Phil Nevin, 10 games for, a shocking, I thought it was going to be more actually, for literally telegraphing his move by putting in an opener and telling him to hit him, telling him to hit Julio and then Jesse Winker in the next inning. So crazy move by Phil Nevin, of course, former Yankee there. So scumbag move. Jesse Winker gets a 7-game suspension, but I don't know if he's suspended. I would love if you guys could help me out on appeals. Anthony Rendon, 5 games. Dom Chidi, the pitching coach, gets 5 games. You'll know him as the guy that tackled, I believe it was Marco Gonzalez, with the white mustache. Very funny visual there. JP Crawford, 5-game suspension for the jumping over the top and trying to give us some forearms like he's in the WWE. Andrew Wantz, 3-game suspension, who is not appealing. And it says he began serving suspension last night. Ryan Tepera, sussied, 3 games. He says, I know he is appealing. And I know that Rafael Iglesias is also suspended and also is appealing. He gets 2 games. I do not know how he is appealing. I don't know why he's appealing. He literally freaked out and threw stuff on the field. That should be 2 games in and of itself right there. So love that. And then, some pitching coaches or coaches for the Angels, the Angels interpreter gets a 2-game suspension too, which is hilarious. But yeah, so all that's to say, I don't want to bet on this game, truthfully. I think it'll be interesting to watch just, for the vibe's sake. Johnny Cueto he's something else, man. I don't think he's in the category of your old, really good pitchers yet. Like Rich Hill and those guys. But he's been spinning it and he's shaking his leg, moving, doing his shit. And I'm shocked that he's pitching as well as he is. He's only given up his worst start was 5 earned runs, which all in all is not bad. Last time out versus the Orioles at home, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, a home run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. Not bad at all. At Houston, dominated Houston. This was a throwback game for Mr. Cueto. 7 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Just ultimately all you can ask for and more. Chase Silseth on the other side. There was a point in time where I think it was his first start. I backed him, and then at every start after that, it was just fade, 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 fade. And he gave up 4 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, and then 4 runs in 1 2/3 innings pitched. He's back up here. Did he learn something? I'm not sure, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this game, Ian.
Yeah, I'd love to bet over because I don't like Silseth. I'm not a big fan of his stuff. But Cueto's been okay. And more than anything, these lineups stink. I mean, they couldn't get me over the total with Giolito on the mound, who has been awful this year. And Syndergaard, who's been hit or miss. And the White Sox stranded a million runners late in that game when they had a chance to tie it. Game stays under. I am done trusting these two lineups against any sort of pitching. White Sox are very, very poor offensively right now. Silseth and the Angels lineup too is not anything to write home about really, outside of Ohtani, Trout sometimes, Marsh sometimes. That's about it right now for the Angels. I do think Gavin Sheets' total bases is worth a look though for the White Sox. He has definitely been trending that at plus 140, by the way. Over 1.5 total bases for Gavin Sheets of the White Sox. Just hitting fifth behind the cleanup hitter Abreu. You look at what he's done. He had 2 hits last night, 2 hits against Baltimore in the final game of that series, 2 hits the night before that. He had a double, 1 hit, but it was a double the first game of that 4-game series with the Orioles. So he's on a stretch now. 4 of the last 5 games, he's gone over 1.5 total bases. So that's the thing I like most, if anything.
Man, this is just a tough game. Two teams that honestly I thought would make the playoffs, and they're not going to. I'll say this now. I don't think the White Sox are going to make the playoffs. It sucks for like Jimmy the Bag. I know he took the White Sox to win the division at a juicy price, and then ever since then it was just shit. But they're not going to fire. They're not going to fire La Russa during the season. I really don't think they are. They're going to ride that shit out because Jerry Reinsdorf, loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
loyal to a fault. So I'll pass on this game.
They can chant "Fire Tony" all they want. I don't think it's happening either during the season. Yep.
No way. And by the way, I love after that "Fire Tony" chant, everything changed until like everyone was against him, but now everyone's like so anti Tony La Russa that since that day it just changed. And it's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy to see. So, obviously, they're the biggest disappointment in baseball. We kind of expected this last year, but here it is now. Let's move on to this next game, which Kyle Hintlian has told us, just bet the Padres and enjoy the rest of your day. And this is a great pitching matchup, obviously. I think I'm trying to scroll through the Rolodex of games that we've talked about. This might be the best pitching matchup that we've had. Obviously, Morton and Wheeler could be up there too, but Manaea versus Gallen is just a fascinating matchup because I don't know how I feel about Sean Manaea, Ian. I really don't, because you can get the highs of Sean Manaea throwing a no-hitter against the 2018 Red Sox, and you can get the highs of Sean Manaea going, 7 innings, 1 earned run against the Mets on the 8th this month, but you can also get Sean Manaea on the 14th at the Cubs going 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs there. He pitched against the Cardinals his last time out, or the Diamondbacks, I should say. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a home run, 6 Ks, 3 walks. Is he going to pitch better than that? I don't know. I'll be a little surprised, even though the Diamondbacks, they're not good. Let's start there.
Against lefties, they're not. No,
they're not good, and I don't believe, Ian. I really don't. And I like Zach Gallen too. 7.5 would probably lean to our first 5 team total, or first 5 under 3.5. I assume. I have not looked at it. So another pass game for me here. Unfortunately, maybe I was happy to not cap the back half of this card because all these fucking games stink, Ian. This is the best one of them, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I when it's Zach Gallen on the mound, I look to back Zach Gallen. So I might have a tiny little piece of Arizona here, first 5 in full game split, because I do believe, and Gallen's been good at Chase Field, very good in this park. San Diego is still a lineup that is in flux right now with the injuries that they're dealing with at the moment. There's no question that's debilitated this lineup a little bit. Obviously, being without Machado and being without Fernando Tatis, but Gallon's pitched well at home. The problem is they don't hit lefties, Arizona. And Manaea's a lefty. He's a capable enough lefty, and he shut down Arizona before. So I can't say I love Arizona, but just all season, when Gallon's on the mound, it's either Arizona or pass for me. But I got to admit, I don't love Arizona today because I worry about whether they're going to hit as well. So that has me looking under 7.5. Under first 5 full game is probably what I'd look at.
Really? Ron Lofton saying, how is the total only 7.5? It's not in San Diego. Gallon can be shaky, and the D-backs had a day off after scoring 11. I don't know. That's tough. Honestly, I would only take San Diego here, and that's purely based on the fact that my pal and yours, Kyle Hantlian, is chilling, drinking probably mojitos on a Nantucket beach somewhere, enjoying his life because he's been betting big dog bets, and he just told us to bet the Pirates or the Padres and enjoy the rest of our day.
Right.
So I'll admit it. I want to take the Pirates, or the Padres. I keep saying the Pirates because I see in the P, and I've always got my mind on the Pirates. But I've got a pass here. Unfortunately, I will just say, lean towards the Padres. I keep fucking saying it, but I will pass here on the end of the day. You too, Ian? Well, you said a little piece of potential the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, a little lean on potentially a small piece of Arizona and small piece of the under. That's about it.
Yeah, let's move on. Next game, 2 more, kind of meh games. Unfortunately, Tigers, Giants here. Skubal, he's not everybody's cup of tea. I'll admit that. He's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of him. Jimmy loves him. Rodon is not my favorite pitcher as well. The 7 is, I was going to say a little aggressive, honestly, but it's in San Francisco. We all know how that park plays. So another like a minus 200, plus 165. Unfortunately, not even enough to get me interested in the Tigers to begin with. And I'll bring up Tigers numbers against lefties this month because I can almost assure myself that they're atrocious, but I want to see them to believe them. Actually, they're not. Wow. It's against righties. They must not be able to hit. That's surprising. Detroit 11th this month, 123 weighted runs created plus. That's surprising. It really is. And I guess, I guess if you want to take the Tigers here, first 5 team total, maybe you should get like a half. But yeah, no, pass game for me here. And what do you have on this one? I just move on this game.
Yeah, I might take a small piece of Detroit. I mean, I've been good with these big dogs lately. I mean, Colorado last night was in a good spot. We had a little piece of the Oakland Athletics plus money. Some of the bigger dogs have been coming through. I was tempted by Detroit. I mean, Rodon is lights out. The last 3 starts, he's been spectacular, but this team will know him a lot better and have more familiarity than a lot of opponents against Rodon. The days that he was with the White Sox, Detroit saw him a lot, especially Cabrera saw him a lot. So there could be a little more familiarity. They've hit lefties better lately. And San Francisco is just one of those teams, like minus 200. They just got pummeled by the Reds, did they not, on Sunday? I mean, and they've been kind of up and down lately. Detroit at least has some idea of the book on Carlos Rodon, even though he's been spectacular the last 3 starts. And I'm a big Skubal fan. So put it all together. And Detroit actually, like I said, they've hit a little bit better the last few games. So put it all together, I think could do worse things than take a small dog shot here with the Tigers.
Yeah, I just looked at the first 5 team total. Over a half is obviously super juice, so you don't want to take that. But over 1.5 plus 130. And I don't hate that at all. Next game and the final game on our slate is those Baltimore Orioles versus the Seattle Mariners here. And I think this is a fascinating game because the Orioles have been great, just flat good this last month. And it kind of sucks for them that they're in the AL East. I obviously feel bad for the Orioles. I have a soft spot for the Orioles. As I lived in Virginia for a long time. So around a bunch of Orioles fans. And I like Camden Yards too. I've been there. It's a great park. So a lot of things to like about this Orioles squad. And Robbie Ray has really, truly not been that impressive this year. He's been picking it up as of late. Let's bring up his game log real quick. And I'll tell you right now, this Orioles lineup, whoever is in it, because we don't have official lineups, I believe, yet, does hit Robbie Ray. They have good numbers on him. But Let's talk about his last 2 appearances. Only 1 earned run in both of them. At Oakland was his last time out. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. And then versus the Angels, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 10 Ks, 1 walk there. He went no earned runs as well. So he's been 3 straight starts. He's been great. No earned runs against the Red Sox on the 12th this month. So he has been, it was shaky at first. It was definitely shaking at first, but it's been Cy Young, Robbie Ray for the last 3 starts. How long does that last? Do we believe it's going to keep going? I don't know. I mean, obviously the Red Sox was a great test, and he dominated them. That was his first really good start that he got the roll going on. Angels can hit on given days. On given days, I don't want to say every day, but on given days they can hit. But Baltimore against lefties, third this month, 151 weighted runs created plus. So I want him. I want a little piece. I want a little piece of the Orioles here. What about team total? I don't know, Ian. Are you on the Orioles as well? Because I feel like you are.
Yeah, I'm staying off this game completely. It's too mystifying to me because Ray is dominant right now. The last few starts, he's looking great again. I don't know if I want to go against that form, but I also know he struggled early. And if one team could maybe turn around his little good stretch, it's Baltimore, who've been mashing lefties. But on the flip side, I still don't buy into Dean Kramer. I don't know how he's doing what he's doing, but to me, he's been a marginal pitcher, and now all of a sudden he's just lighting it up like he's Cy Young or like he's Tom Seaver or Sandy Koufax all of a sudden. But did I miss the memo? He's all of a sudden Pedro Martinez, this guy, Dean Kramer. I mean, goodness gracious, what's with this incredible run he's been on? I know the moment I start to buy in, he's going to just shit the bed and he's going to get lit up. I know that's what's going to happen. So pass for me. But I agree. The Baltimore side has the value here. They crushed this team last night. Seattle's not playing well. They do hit lefties well, Baltimore. Seattle with the suspensions as well. That's not going to help them. That's only going to hurt them. There is value on Baltimore. But so that basically I'm not betting the game. But if I had to take a side, it would be Baltimore at the plus price.
Well, Ian, unfortunately, I'm going to take him. I'm adding to my girthy card here. The real question is, and maybe you can give me some input here, Ian, would you rather, if you were in my shoes, would you rather take a team total over 3 at minus 115, or would you rather take a first 5 team total, 1.5 at even money?
Wow, that's for Baltimore?
Yes, for Baltimore. I'm leaning towards the full game, obviously more linked.
I think Seattle bullpen is just too erratic for me. I'd want the bullpen to be part of it. So full game probably.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yep. If we do get that Robbie Ray excellent performance, at the very least, we can get a little backdoor hope. Yeah. We mentioned his name. I love that we're going to mention him by name again, and maybe we can keep mentioning him every time you come on, Ian. But if I fucking hope we see my guy Paul Sewald come back in this game. I don't know where Paul Sewald is. I don't keep track of my Mariners or relievers. Maybe he's in AAA already, but I want to see Paul Sewald in this game after Robbie Ray because he immediately gives up runs, and I love it to see. All right,
certainly going to help your team total if we see that.
Oh yeah, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it. Ian, what a lovely show. I can feel you're a little winded today. We got you a little tired on a Tuesday. I'm excited.
Well, it's because now the warm weather's here. So when you're in this space for long shows, you start to
man, make you break a sweat. Make you break a sweat, Ian. Yep. See, I love it. We're making him sweat. We're feeling great about these plays. And I've got a lengthy card here. And I'm ready to give you guys all my plays. Ian, I'll go to you after this. But first, we'll go with the season-long record. It's been great. 238, 227, up 13.76 units on the year. Not one day in the negative units for my season record. And we continue on building up to hopefully 20 units again, because I miss being up 20 units. So long are those days, but we keep grinding away. So officially, we're on Astros. First 5, -0.5 at plus 115. Pittsburgh team total over 2.5 for the first 5 innings at plus 105. Pittsburgh team total over 4 full game, -110. Minnesota Twins moneyline -113. Boston Red Sox moneyline plus 117. St. Louis Cardinals team total over 4.5 -110. Colorado Rockies first 5 money line plus 155. Big dog shot there. And lastly, some little nightcap baseball, a little appetizer to wet the beak while we're preparing tomorrow. Baltimore team total over 3 at minus 115. Ian Cameron, what do you want?
All right, there we go. I like it. Yeah, Baltimore team total 3 is not bad value considering they hit Ray well, they hit lefties well, so it could get there. I don't, even though Ray's form's been great, so I definitely can't argue with the value of that number. Okay, Pittsburgh, Washington over 8.5, minus 110. Miami, St. Louis over 8.5, minus 120. Let me just see. Boston, Toronto over 9, minus 114. Tampa Bay first 5 full game split. Houston first 5 full game split. Tempted to look at a smaller shot with Detroit and Colorado, as well as Arizona, first 5 and full game split, but haven't officially added those yet. And as far as player props go, Schwarber over a half total base, Herrera over a half total base, Herrera plus 750, the big swing for the fences there for him to hit a home run. Dansby Swanson over 1.5 total bases. Travis d'Arnaud over 1.5 total bases. Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases. Alex Verdugo over 1.5 total bases. Plus 150 for Swanson, plus 150 for d'Arnaud, minus 115 for Judge, plus 125 for Verdugo. Bichette over 1.5 total bases, plus 100. Springer over 1.5 total bases, plus 120. Vlad Guerrero over 1.5 total bases, plus 100. Teoscar over 1.5 total bases, plus 100. Goldschmidt over 1.5 total bases, St. Louis, minus 115. Juan Yepes, St. Louis over 1.5 total bases, plus 130. Garrett Cooper, Miami, over 1.5 total bases, plus 140. Wilson Contreras, over 1.5 total bases. Chicago Cubs, plus 110. Calhoun and Lowe for Texas, over 1.5 total bases. Forgot to mention them at plus prices, plus 120, plus 140. Will Smith, over 1.5 total bases, minus 150. Connor Joe, over 1.5 total bases, plus 100. And the young kid with his family in attendance in Seattle, Adley Rutschman, who have been riding over total bases for Baltimore, over 0.5 total bases, minus 150, and a little shot on hit a home run like he did last night, which is plus 400.
Whoo!
How about that?
And breathe.
Yep.
Exciting day. I'm winded just hearing all that.
Yeah, Buxton starting. Yep, he's in there.
Winded just hearing all that.
Leading off.
And especially if you know Ian Cameron, you know he makes his unit size larger than most. So all those bets, they make my hands sweat. So I'm excited for you, Ian. It's going to be a great day for sure. Thank you for joining me like you do every Tuesday now. Tuesdays are a great day for you to come on. We got a full slate. It's going to be great. I cannot wait for the next time you come on next Tuesday. It's going to be great. Thank you as always, Bobano. Where can the people find you next at, actually?
Well, obviously on Twitter at Bobano, but next Pub Sports Radio show will be, I think, Friday. Yeah, Friday with Jimmy the Bag, betting with the Bag. Every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, the whole card. We'll have CFL and MLB coming up on Friday.
Beautiful. Little respite for Ian after a long hockey season, basketball season. Give Ian a little respite. I mean,
the volume of shows is dwindling significantly here in the month of June and July, and I need it. It's going to be nice to have a little rest and relaxation. So. People always saying, how many shows are you going to do? I miss you already. You're not doing as many shows. Well, I need the recharge of the batteries. It's nice to only have a couple of shows a week, to be honest. And we'll get back to a full daily type of routine in September, though, for sure, when football starts.
No, for sure. Football season comes quickly. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Baseball rules the day. And, of course, Ian Cameron will be on Say Hey Plays more often than not.
So Tuesdays and the occasional weekend when it fits the schedule. Yep.
It'll be a great time for sure. Ian, I thank you as always for coming on. Thanks everyone in the chat as well. Hit the like button on your way out. And like I've been trying to tell people, hit a comment, drop a comment on the video and put your plays in there. It's a very easy way for me to go back and look at your plays. It helps me root for you guys as well. Like if I see my man not applicable, he puts in the comments, I'm on Red Sox money line today. Let's go, Jose. And I'm like, fuck yeah, not applicable. Let's go. It's much easier for me to see it, remember it, obviously, than on the live chat right here. It stays more permanent, and I like it. And it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. So please do that as well. Put us in the algorithm. Help us with our algorithm lords. Help us and help us. Thank you guys so much. I cannot wait for another edition to Say Hey Plays. Maybe some internet tomorrow. Thanks, Eric Wellingham. DX Filer, not applicable. Able A talking about me doing workouts. You know how I feel about Able A. I'd rather die than do that. It's going to be a great night. I'm going to go do some bar trivia right now and flex my knowledge of random things to strangers. We'll catch you guys next time. And until then, say hey.